Picture a world where mirrors didn't just show your physical reflection, but also reveal the inner struggles of those who battle with low self-esteem. For many, this is a reality, and this causes their mental health to decrease as well. Self-esteem is not just about appearance, but also about emotional well-being. In the college work provided stimulus, Simone Biles in A True Human in Need of Courage, we get a look into what may go through the mind of somebody who is mentally struggling and feels pressure within themselves. Thoughts like, I can't do it, I am overwhelmed, I do need help, I'm failing, I'm not as together as I portray are very common. They lead to a negative outlook in life and a bad image about oneself. Most importantly though, they lead to social isolation. Good morning, my name is Daniela Sara, and today I will be discussing the correlation between low self-esteem and social isolation in adolescents. As we can see in this image here, there are many reasons for low self-esteem in teenagers, such as phone use, depression and anxiety, body image, parent influence, and peer pressure in social situations. However, while all of these lead to low self-esteem, in what ways does low self-esteem prompt social isolation in adolescents in the United States? Low self-esteem leads to discouragement from reaching out for help and support, and I argue that there are three main factors that lead to social isolation because of low self-esteem. These being lack of self-love, poor mental health, and negative past experiences. Lack of self-love can be seen through social comparison, and this can be seen through social media. Social comparison among teenagers influences lack of self-worth and is seen as threatening to well-being and self-esteem due to the process of comparing ourselves with others who we see as superior. These may lead to a dislike in appearance and personality by teenagers because they may not resemble the ones of their peers or others who they see online. This also, they believe that they will be judged by others because of this, and they would prefer to distance themselves in order to avoid this. According to a self-esteem statistic by Janet Gleiner, about 70% of girls between ages 15 and 17 avoid mall activities because of their low self-esteem. Additionally, teens with low self-esteem are 4 times more likely to suffer from depression, and about 49% of teenagers feel pressure to look good. This impacts their self-esteem and puts pressure in themselves. Low self-esteem is also closely tied with poor mental health, which may lead to depression as previously discussed. Teens who experience this have a fear of being perceived as weak, and they refuse to seek help. They believe that their struggles with mental health show vulnerability and are seen as weak. They will also prefer to hurt alone instead of being judged, whether it is by their family, their friends, or professional help. Teens struggling with mental health are relatively concerned with failure and avoid situations that may reveal their worthlessness and low ability. This influences their fear of being unable to meet the high standards set for them. Because of this is that they refuse to seek help. Beyond that, memories influence the way a person acts in the future. If a teenager experiences a bad memory, they're not going to want a repeat of that in the future. These memories trigger feelings of self-worth and increases their lack of self-esteem. Isolation becomes a coping mechanism to avoid these hurtful interactions. However, after some time, it becomes a vicious cycle that makes it harder for them to connect with others, even if they attempted to. In this slide here, we can see the impact and the trajectory of bullying. Bullying is an example of a negative past experience that a teen may not want to repeat in the future.
Look at me. Click slideshow.
When the bullying happens, the self-esteem is hurt and the mental health is hurt as well. They start to socially compare, and that's going to worsen their mental health as well. After some time can pass, they may encounter a similar memory that may trigger these same feelings. There's gonna be a gradual isolation as they start to remember what they experienced when the initial bullying happened. There's also going to be their negative thoughts, and their mental health is going to decrease, and this will lead to an abstinence from social interactions in the future. However, there are solutions to this. Promoting social connection is key, as well as quality time to show affection and support. By doing this, people show that they care, and that can help people who are struggling. However, there are limitations as well. Teens may not want any help, whether it's from their family, their friends, or professional help. Feelings of worthlessness are not something easy to get rid of, and teenagers are very stubborn. However, with the help and effort from people around them, they can overcome these challenges and stop overthinking. In the article entitled Moral Courage and Intelligent Disobedience, a stimulus provided by College Board, it says that President John F. Kennedy made the case that love for self is at the root of one's need to maintain respect for themselves. This means that having self-love and overcoming these hardships is fundamental and a need for everyone. So ways to help people, which everybody in this room can do, is to be there to listen, motivate, encourage, support, and guide. These drive with any intense feelings of worthlessness and fearlessness and can help teenagers feel better about themselves and feel supported and that they're not alone. Because according to professor and author Rosemary Bleesner, being involved in one another's lives and showing that they care by just being there, friends can mitigate loneliness and depression, and this in turn prevents social isolation. Thank you.
All right, first question. How valid and reliable were the sources that you used, and how do you know they were?
All of the sources that I use in my paper and throughout this course, I've tried finding them in databases where you can find academic and peer-reviewed journals and articles that I know are reliable because you can find them in those websites. And another source that I used in this presentation was a statistic study from 2023 that it's part of an article, and when I was looking at it, they had a lot of citations and a lot of evidence and like credit given, so I knew that like the information was true.
Okay. And what advice would you have for other people that want to consider this a topic to study in the future?
An advice I would have is to first of all have like a general idea of like how these things are connected, like how low self-esteem leads to isolation. I had a general idea because of like personal experiences, but also when you're going to research, like know how to research it, because at first all the articles that I found, they said the same thing, that like low self-esteem was bad for people, for teenagers, and that it like didn't help them mentally, but it didn't really say anything else, so I had to do a lot of research to find like more evidence and more claims and stuff.